Some places are abandoned for a reason. And these prisons? They feel like they're still holding on to something. Inside these crumbling walls, men lived, suffered, and died. Some in silence, others screaming for mercy. From a prison where real-life horror experiments left inmates scarred for life, to a place so haunted that even hardened officers refuse to go inside, these aren't just forgotten buildings. Today, we're taking you inside the 7 most chilling abandoned prisons in Pennsylvania that you'll never forget. So make sure to watch till the end, because we've a surprise for you in this video. Number 7. Old Franklin County Jail. Located in the heart of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, the Old Franklin County Jail stands as a testament to over 2 centuries of history. Constructed in 1818, this Georgian-style building is one of the oldest structures in the area and remarkably survived the Confederate burning of Chambersburg in 1864. Serving as the county jail for more than 150 years, the old jail housed a variety of inmates, from petty criminals to notorious figures. Notably, it detained Captain John Cook, an associate of abolitionist John Brown, following the failed raid on Harper's Ferry. The facility is also believed to have been a stop on the Underground Railroad, offering refuge to runaway slaves seeking freedom in the North. Beyond its function as a detention center, the old jail's architecture and resilience make it unique. The complex includes the original 1818 building, an 1880 annex, and a courtyard enclosed by a 20-foot-high limestone wall. The building's endurance through significant historical events, such as the 1864 burning of Chambersburg, adds to its mystique. Throughout its operation, the jail witnessed numerous significant events. During the Civil War, it temporarily held Union soldiers before their relocation. Remarkably, when Confederate forces burned much of Chambersburg in 1864, the old jail was one of the few buildings left standing. Its walls have also echoed with the footsteps of various criminals, including those incarcerated for prohibition-related offenses in the early 20th century. Ceasing operations as a jail in 1971, the building now serves as a museum and the headquarters for the Franklin County Historical Society. Visitors can explore original cells, including the ominous dungeons, and view a range of historical artifacts from the region. The old jail offers guided tours, providing insights into its storied past and the broader history of Franklin County. Number 6. State Correctional Institution, Greensburg. Hidden in the rolling hills of Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, the SCI Greensburg once held over 1,000 inmates behind its towering fences. Opened in 1969, this medium-security prison was designed to house male offenders, handling a mix of violent criminals and repeat offenders. Over time, it expanded, increasing its inmate capacity and security measures. But despite its long-standing presence, Greensburg's time as a prison came to an abrupt and unexpected end. In 2013, after more than 4 decades of operation, SCI Greensburg was shut down with little warning. The Pennsylvania Department of Corrections cited budget cuts and declining inmate populations as the primary reasons for its closure. But what made this shutdown different was the speed at which it happened. Entire cell blocks were emptied overnight, leaving behind abandoned dormitories, rusting prison gates, and empty guard towers. It was as if the prison had been frozen in time, with documents, furniture, and even personal inmate belongings left behind. After its closure, former prison guards and maintenance workers who visited the site began reporting strange experiences. Some claimed they heard voices echoing through the halls, while others reported the unmistakable sound of footsteps in empty corridors. One former officer even described an experience where he walked through the abandoned cell blocks, only to feel like he was being watched the entire time. Could it be the spirits of former inmates still lingering? Or just the ghostly silence of an abandoned prison? Whatever the case, SCI Greensburg quickly gained a reputation as one of Pennsylvania's eeriest abandoned prisons. Today, SCI Greensburg remains abandoned, its once bustling corridors now filled with dust, decay, and collapsing ceilings. While the fences and security towers still stand, the facility has been left to rot, with nature slowly reclaiming the grounds. Unlike some abandoned prisons that have been converted into museums or historical sites, Greensburg has been left untouched, a ghost of what it once was. Few places have been abandoned as suddenly as SCI Greensburg, making it one of the most haunting forgotten prisons in Pennsylvania. Number 5. Western Penitentiary. On the banks of the Ohio River, hidden behind high stone walls and rusting fences, sits Western Penitentiary, a prison with a history stretching back to the 19th century. Also known as SCI Pittsburgh, this facility was one of Pennsylvania's oldest and most notorious prisons, opening its doors in 1882. Designed to hold some of the state's most hardened criminals, it quickly became a high-security fortress, with watchtowers looming over the prison yard and thick iron bars sealing off the outside world. While Western Penitentiary was meant to keep criminals locked in, history shows that it wasn't always successful. In the early 1900s, the prison gained a reputation for frequent escape attempts, with prisoners digging tunnels, overpowering guards, and even trying to swim across the Ohio River to freedom. Some made it out for days, weeks, or even months before being recaptured. Others weren't as lucky. Many drowned in the strong river currents, their escape attempts ending in tragedy. As the years passed, Western Penitentiary became one of Pennsylvania's most overcrowded prisons. The aging infrastructure, combined with deteriorating conditions, made it one of the most criticized facilities in the state. Reports of violence, gang activity, and mistreatment of prisoners became more frequent. By the early 2000s, the state debated shutting it down, but the prison remained operational for another decade, until officials finally made the call. In 2017, the Pennsylvania Department of Corrections permanently shut down Western Penitentiary, citing budget cuts and a declining prison population. Hundreds of inmates were transferred overnight, and the once busy facility was suddenly left silent. Today, the prison stands completely abandoned, with empty guard towers, crumbling walls, and cells that haven't been touched in years. But despite being vacant, Western Penitentiary hasn't lost its eerie presence. Even before its closure, there were rumors that the prison was haunted. Guards reported hearing strange voices and footsteps in empty hallways, and some even claimed to see shadowy figures moving between the cells. Since its abandonment, urban explorers who have entered the site illegally have described an overwhelming sense of unease, as if something unseen is still watching from the shadows. Today, Western Penitentiary remains sealed off to the public, its fenced perimeter and guard posts still intact, but its inside slowly crumbling away. Unlike some historic prisons that have been preserved as museums, this one has been left to rot, a silent reminder of Pittsburgh's dark past. I hope you're enjoying this video so far, so make sure to hit the subscribe button and let us know if there's any abandoned place you'd like us to feature in the upcoming videos. Number 4. Old Cumberland County Prison. Sitting in the heart of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, the Old Cumberland County Prison doesn't look like a typical jail. With its castle-like stone walls, arched windows, and imposing towers, it appears more like a medieval fortress than a correctional facility. Built in 1854, this prison served Cumberland County for over 130 years, witnessing countless stories of crime, punishment, and even rumored hauntings before finally shutting its doors in 1984. Unlike modern prisons, which are built for function over form, the Old Cumberland County Prison was designed with heavy Gothic Revival architecture. Its thick stone walls and watchtowers weren't just for decoration. They were meant to keep prisoners locked in and the outside world locked out. But despite its fortress-like design, the prison was notorious for overcrowding, harsh conditions, and in some cases, brutal punishments. Over the years, many criminals passed through its doors, ranging from petty thieves to violent offenders. But the prison didn't just hold criminals. It also became a temporary holding facility for Union soldiers during the Civil War, adding yet another layer to its history. The thick stone walls of the prison have absorbed decades of suffering, and according to many visitors, the spirits of former inmates may still linger. Some claim to have heard whispers, footsteps, and even felt sudden cold chills while walking past the old cells. The dungeon-like basement, where prisoners were once held in solitary confinement, is rumored to be the most active area for paranormal activity. Though it officially closed in 1984, the old Cumberland County Prison wasn't left to decay. Instead, it was converted into offices for the Cumberland County government, preserving much of its original architecture and eerie atmosphere. Number 3. State Correctional Institution Cresson. Hidden deep in the mountains of Cambria County, Pennsylvania, the SCI Cresson looks like just another abandoned prison. But its past is far darker than most people realize. This facility wasn't just a prison. It was also once a mental hospital and tuberculosis sanatorium, where thousands of patients and prisoners suffered behind closed doors. With a history filled with neglect, abuse, and even death, it's no surprise that SCI Cresson has gained a reputation as one of the most unsettling abandoned places in Pennsylvania. Long before SCI Cresson became a correctional facility, it opened in 1913 as Cresson Tuberculosis Sanatorium, a place where patients suffering from tuberculosis and other infectious diseases were sent for treatment. But in those days, treatment often meant isolation, suffering, and in many cases, death. In 1956, the sanatorium was converted into a mental institution, housing hundreds of patients with severe mental illnesses. Like many psychiatric hospitals of that time, it was overcrowded, understaffed, and filled with reports of mistreatment. Patients were subjected to harsh conditions, outdated treatments, and sometimes even abuse from staff members. Some were locked away for years, forgotten by society, and many never left the facility alive. By the 1980s, the hospital was shut down, and the buildings were converted into SCI Cresson, a medium-security prison. Thousands of inmates passed through its gates over the years, but conditions inside weren't much better than in the past. Reports of abuse, overcrowding, and harsh punishments made it one of the more notorious prisons in the state. One of the most shocking reports involved the use of solitary confinement on mentally ill prisoners. A 2013 federal investigation found that inmates suffering from severe mental health issues were being locked away for months or even years in total isolation, often with little to no medical treatment. The abuse scandal led to a major lawsuit, and not long after, the prison was shut down for good. Since its closure in 2013, SCI Cresson has been left to rot and decay. Nature is reclaiming the buildings, with crumbling walls, rusted cell doors, and overgrown courtyards, making the site look like something out of a horror movie. But it's not just the visuals that make this place unsettling. Visitors who have dared to explore the abandoned prison report, hearing strange whispers, footsteps echoing down empty hallways, and shadowy figures moving in the dark. Given its history as both a mental asylum and a prison, it's no wonder why many consider SCI Cresson to be one of the most haunted abandoned prisons in Pennsylvania. Today, SCI Cresson remains abandoned, with its rusting fences and decaying buildings standing as a grim reminder of its past. The site is off-limits to the public, but that hasn't stopped urban explorers and ghost hunters from sneaking inside to document its eerie atmosphere. And hey, if you love exploring abandoned places or ghost towns, you'd love our This playlist, the link in description and on the end screen. Now let's move to our next location. Number 2. Holmesburg Prison. Tucked away in northeast Philadelphia, Holmesburg Prison might look like just another decaying structure, but inside its walls lies one of the darkest chapters in American prison history. Built in 1896, this massive stone fortress was designed to house some of the city's most dangerous criminals. But while most prisons are known for violence behind bars, Holmesburg became infamous for something even worse: human experimentation. Holmesburg's high walls, narrow corridors, and single inmate cells made it one of the most secure and feared prisons in Pennsylvania. Overcrowding, harsh conditions, and violent clashes between inmates and guards were common. But what truly sets Holmesburg apart from other abandoned prisons is what happened behind closed doors. From the 1950s to the 1970s, Holmesburg was home to one of the most disturbing human experiments in U.S. history. Led by Dr. Albert Kligman, a dermatologist from the University of Pennsylvania, These top-secret experiments were conducted on inmates without proper consent. Prisoners were injected with chemicals, exposed to biological agents, and had their skin burned and scarred as part of research funded by the US military and private companies. Some were unknowingly exposed to radioactive materials, mind-altering drugs, and dangerous viruses, all under the guise of medical research. Inmates later reported lifelong health issues, including severe skin damage, cancer, and psychological trauma. Many of them never received compensation or justice, and to this day, Holmesburg is remembered as one of the worst examples of unethical medical testing in US history. After decades of abuse, violence, and controversy, Holmesburg was finally shut down in 1995. By the time it closed, its walls had absorbed more than a century of suffering, and many believe some of that energy still lingers. Since its closure, security guards, urban explorers, and even law enforcement officers who have entered the abandoned facility report strange whispers, footsteps echoing in empty hallways, and the feeling of being watched. Some even claim to have seen shadowy figures moving between the cells. Today, Holmesburg Prison remains completely abandoned. Its stone walls cracked, its cells rusting, and its corridors collecting dust. While it is sometimes used for police training and film shoots, the prison is largely off-limits to the public. But even in its decayed state, Holmesburg stands as a haunting reminder of a past that many would rather forget. Number 1. Eastern State Penitentiary. Towering over Fairmount Avenue in Philadelphia, Eastern State Penitentiary isn't just an abandoned prison. It's a monument to suffering, isolation, and punishment. Opened in 1829, this facility was the first true penitentiary in the world, introducing a radical new form of punishment: solitary confinement. While it was meant to inspire repentance, it instead drove many inmates insane. Eastern State was ahead of its time, featuring high stone walls, cathedral-like hallways, and a unique radial design, where each cell had its own small exercise yard and a single slit in the ceiling for light, known as the Eye of God. But what really set it apart was its strict solitary confinement system. Prisoners were kept completely alone. They couldn't see, hear, or communicate with anyone, including the guards. If they tried to talk, they were met with brutal punishments. Some were even forced to wear black hoods when outside their cells to ensure they never saw another human face. Over the years, Eastern State held some notorious criminals, including Al Capone, who spent 8 months here in luxury compared to other prisoners. His cell was furnished with a desk, a lamp, and even a radio, but many believe he was haunted by the ghosts of his past, claiming he saw the spirit of James "Jimmy" Clark, one of the men killed in the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Another chilling story comes from Willie Sutton, the infamous bank robber, who attempted an escape through a 97-foot tunnel that he and other inmates dug beneath the prison. Unfortunately for them, they were caught just before making it out. While Eastern State's solitary confinement was meant to reform criminals, it often led to madness. Prisoners talked to themselves, hallucinated, and even committed suicide due to the crushing loneliness. Eventually, solitary confinement was abandoned, and the prison was converted into a more traditional facility. But by the 1960s, the prison was outdated and overcrowded, leading to its official closure in 1971. For decades, the site sat empty, crumbling, and forgotten. With its long history of suffering and death, it's no surprise that Eastern State is considered one of the most haunted places in the US. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported shadowy figures in the halls, ghostly whispers, and sudden cold spots. One of the most famous ghost stories comes from Cell Block 12, where echoing laughter has been heard despite the block being completely empty. Others have seen full-bodied apparitions, doors slamming on their own, and even the sound of footsteps following them. Today, Eastern State Penitentiary is a museum, offering tours that take visitors through its dark corridors, abandoned cells, and eerie hallways. Every Halloween, it transforms into a haunted attraction, drawing thrill-seekers looking for a scare. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, one thing is undeniable: this place still holds echoes of its past. We're covering 7 more incredible theme parks in Pennsylvania that you demanded to see. Some of these places have eerie backstories, while others hold memories of laughter and joy that now echo in silence. So, make sure to watch till the end, because one of these parks has a twist so shocking, it'll leave you questioning its entire history. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more of your favorite places in Pennsylvania. Now let's begin our countdown. Number 7. West Point Park. Located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, West Point Park was a little slice of family fun that left an unforgettable mark on the community. The park originally opened in 1867 as Zybers Park, a local recreation spot tied to the trolley system that brought visitors from nearby towns. In 1947, it was renamed West Point Park and expanded to become a favorite destination for kids and adults alike. The park featured all the classics like a beautiful carousel, a lively roller rink, and a bandstand that hosted live performances. It wasn't just a park, it was a place where families gathered to enjoy music, laughter, and community. Unfortunately, like many smaller parks, West Point Park struggled to compete with larger, more modern attractions in the 1980s. Attendance dwindled, and the park eventually closed its gates in 1987. Today, the site has been completely repurposed, leaving no visible trace of the joy and memories that once filled the air. But don't get too nostalgic just yet. If you thought West Point Park's history was fascinating, wait until you hear about the next park. Number 6. Hanson's Amusement Park. Right on the edge of Harvey's Lake in Luzerne County, Hanson's Amusement Park was once a favorite spot for families looking to relax and have fun. It all started back in the early 1900s, when the area was a peaceful lakeside retreat. But soon, it grew into an exciting amusement park that had something for everyone. The park had a beautiful carousel that lit up the evenings, a scenic railway that gave visitors breathtaking views of the lake, and boat rides that were perfect for a lazy afternoon. Hanson's wasn't just about rides, it was about making memories. Families would pack a picnic, spend the day enjoying the attractions, and soak in the relaxing sounds of the lake. The mix of fun and peaceful surroundings made it a truly special place. But as bigger and flashier parks started popping up in the 1980s, Hanson's began to struggle. By 1984, the park closed its gates for good. Many of its attractions were taken down, and today, all that remains are the fond memories of those who visited. Now, if you think lakeside rides were interesting, wait until you hear about a park that once hosted traveling circuses. Number 5. Rolling Green Amusement Park. Located in Hummel's Wharf, Snyder County, this park was a beloved destination where families could spend an entire day filled with fun and excitement. Opening in 1908, it quickly became a favorite for locals, offering a mix of thrilling rides, games, and entertainment. The park's attractions included 2 roller coasters, introduced in 1928. The Skyline Twister, a large wooden coaster, and the Junior Speedway, a kiddie coaster that was a hit with younger visitors. But Rolling Green wasn't just about the rides. It had a flair for the dramatic. The park often hosted traveling circuses, bringing exotic animals, daring acrobats, and breathtaking performances to its grounds. Now imagine riding the Skyline Twister while the sound of a lion's roar echoed nearby, or watching a high-wire act before heading to the arcade. It was an experience like no other. Despite its charm, Rolling Green struggled to keep up with larger, more modern amusement parks that were drawing away visitors. By the end of the 1971 season, the park closed its gates for good. The site was eventually redeveloped into residential housing, leaving no visible traces of the lively playground it once was. And hey, I know you're enjoying this video so far, so why not give us a thumbs up? And also don't forget to check our previous video on abandoned amusement parks in Pennsylvania. It's packed with even more fascinating forgotten parks. And let us know in the comments which park is your favorite so far, or if there's another one you'd like us to feature. Now let's move to our next park. Number 4. Lenape Park. Back in the late 1800s, Lenape Park in Westchester, Chester County, was a peaceful picnic spot along the beautiful Brandywine River. Families loved coming here to relax, enjoy lunch, and take in the natural scenery. But by the early 1900s, Lenape Park had grown into something much more exciting. It became a full amusement park that was full of fun and laughter. The park had everything, roller coasters for thrill seekers, paddle boats for a relaxing trip on the water, and a dance hall where live music kept the party going. But the real star of Lenape Park was its amazing Dental Carousel. This hand-carved beauty featured 48 stunning animal figures and became the heart of the park. Kids and adults alike loved riding it, and for over 50 years, the carousel was lovingly cared for by the park's owner, John Gibney. Unfortunately, by the 1970s, the park started to struggle financially. In 1979, the carousel figures were sold, causing an uproar in the community, and the park's popularity continued to decline. John Gibney, at the age of 92, decided to sell the park in 1976, and Lenape Park closed for good. Today, most of the park is gone, but if you visit, you can still see the old carousel pavilion. It stands as a reminder of the joy and memories that Lenape Park brought to so many families. Number 3. Rainbow Gardens. Now let's take a trip to Rainbow Gardens, a lively destination that once lit up the town of White Oak, Pennsylvania. Opening in 1924 as a roller skating rink, it quickly became the place to be, drawing crowds from across the region. Over the years, Rainbow Gardens expanded to include a swimming pool, amusement rides, and even a drive-in theater by 1947, making it much more than just a skating spot. The real heart of Rainbow Gardens was its massive indoor roller skating rink. It wasn't just a place to skate. It was a community hub where people of all ages came together, whether to perfect their spins, race their friends, or simply show off their brand new skates. Families spent hours at the park, enjoying the rides, grabbing a snack, and taking a few laps around the rink, creating memories that lasted a lifetime. The park also hosted events like skating competitions and local celebrations, solidifying its place as a vital part of the community. But as time went on, Rainbow Gardens faced growing challenges. By the late 1960s, declining attendance and plans for a highway expansion marked the end of its golden era. The park closed in 1968, and its structures were demolished to make way for the proposed roadway, though the highway project never came to fruition. Today, the site has been redeveloped, leaving behind only stories of the fun and laughter that once filled the air. Number 2. Conneaut Park. Located in Conneaut Lake, Pennsylvania, this iconic park opened in 1892, making it one of the oldest amusement parks in the state. Known for its picturesque lakeside views and family-friendly attractions, Conneaut Lake Park was a beloved destination for generations of visitors. One of the park's standout features was the legendary Blue Streak roller coaster. Built in 1938 to replace the original scenic railway, this wooden coaster quickly gained fame for its thrilling out-and-back design and breathtaking drops. It was a favorite among coaster enthusiasts and families alike, holding its place as one of the oldest wooden roller coasters in the country. But Conneaut Lake Park's journey has been anything but smooth. Over the years, it faced numerous challenges, including financial struggles, closures, and periods of neglect. Despite efforts to restore the Blue Streak with renovations in 1997, 2002, and 2010, the coaster's condition continued to decline. In 2021, the park's new ownership deemed the structure unsafe, and plans for its removal were put into motion. Tragically, during the dismantling process in January 2022, a fire broke out, destroying much of the coaster. What remained of the Blue Streak was later demolished, marking the end of an era for this beloved ride. Today, Conneaut Lake Park operates as a summer resort and event venue, but much of its original charm has faded. It stands as a bittersweet reminder of its glorious past and the ongoing fight to keep its legacy alive. Number 1. Willow Grove Park. And now, the most requested park on our list, Willow Grove Park. Located in Willow Grove, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, this wasn't just an amusement park, it was the amusement park. Opening on May 30th, 1896, Willow Grove Park was developed by the People's Traction Company to boost trolley ridership on weekends. It quickly became one of the grandest and most celebrated destinations in the state. So, what made Willow Grove Park so special wasn't just the rides, although it had plenty of them, including roller coasters, a Ferris wheel, and a classic carousel. The park was famous for its beautifully landscaped gardens and its incredible music pavilion. Dubbed the music capital of America, Willow Grove hosted some of the biggest names in music at the time. Legendary composer John Philip Sousa performed his iconic marches here regularly, along with other renowned musicians like Victor Herbert and Arthur Pryor. These concerts drew massive crowds and added a unique charm to the park that set it apart from other trolley parks of the era. But Willow Grove wasn't only about music. It was a full-day experience. Families could enjoy a leisurely stroll through the gardens, ride the thrilling attractions, or cool off with refreshments on a summer day. For decades, the park was the heart of the community, where unforgettable memories were made. However, by the 1950s, the popularity of trolley parks began to wane. The rise of automobiles, along with new entertainment options, slowly drew visitors elsewhere. Willow Grove Park closed its gates at the end of the 1975 season and was demolished the following year. But here's the twist. The site wasn't completely lost to history. In 1982, the Willow Grove Park Mall opened on the former park grounds. The mall honors the park's legacy with subtle nods to its history, including carousel-inspired designs and even a working carousel installed in 2001 as a tribute to the park's past. In this episode, we'll be exploring 7 most unusual abandoned places in Pennsylvania that will leave you speechless. From ghostly amusement parks to colossal industrial ruins, the Keystone State is home to some of the most fascinating forgotten landmarks. So, make sure to watch till the end for a surprise, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because more Pennsylvania videos are on the way. Now let's start our countdown without any further delay. Number 7. Williams Grove Amusement Park. Nestled in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, Williams Grove Amusement Park is a hauntingly quiet spot today. Founded in 1850, this amusement park holds a special place in history as one of the oldest in the country. For more than a century, it brought joy to countless visitors, offering rides, games, and memories that spanned generations. But in 2005, the park shut its gates for the last time, leaving behind an eerie collection of crumbling attractions. Walking through the park now, you'll come across the Cyclone roller coaster, its towering wooden frame weathered and overtaken by vines. The carousel, once spinning with painted horses, now stands still, rusting under the open sky. These once lively symbols of fun and excitement are now frozen in time, slowly succumbing to nature. While it may no longer echo with the sounds of joy, its quiet presence tells the story of a bygone era. Number 6. Graffiti Pier. In the heart of Philadelphia, along the Delaware River, lies a place that has reinvented itself in the most unexpected way: Graffiti Pier. What was once a coal-loading dock, bustling with industry, now stands as a colorful tribute to urban art and creativity. Built decades ago to serve the city's coal operations, the pier was abandoned in the 1990s when the industry declined. Left behind were massive concrete structures, cold, gray, and empty. But over the years, something extraordinary happened. Artists found their way here, transforming these forgotten walls into vivid canvases, bursting with life and imagination. Today, every inch of Graffiti Pier is covered in bold, expressive street art. From intricate murals to spontaneous tags, the artwork changes constantly, turning the space into an ever-evolving gallery. But even amid the vibrant colors, the pier retains an eerie, haunting vibe. Rusting metal beams and crumbling concrete are stark reminders of its industrial past. So, whether you're an art lover, an urban explorer, or someone seeking a hidden gem in Philadelphia, this spot promises an unforgettable experience. Number 5. Westinghouse Atom Smasher. Built in 1937 in Forest Hills, Pennsylvania, this pear-shaped structure was a marvel of its time and a beacon of innovation during the early days of nuclear science. The Atom Smasher was designed to accelerate particles to incredibly high speeds, enabling groundbreaking research in nuclear physics. At its peak, it was a symbol of progress, attracting some of the brightest scientific minds of the mid-20th century. For decades, it played a pivotal role in discoveries that helped pave the way for advancements in medicine, energy, and technology. But as technology evolved, the Atom Smasher was left behind. By the late 20th century, it had fallen into disuse, its towering frame rusting and weathered by time. For years, it stood as a haunting reminder of a bygone era, captivating locals and visitors alike with its unique shape and historical significance. Though it was dismantled in 2015, the Westinghouse atom smasher remains an iconic part of Pennsylvania's industrial and scientific heritage. It may be gone, but its story continues to inspire. And hey, quick question. Are you enjoying this video so far? If you are, it'd mean a lot if you could give it a thumbs up. It's a small thing, but it really helps us out. And if you're into exploring Pennsylvania, we've got 2 playlists packed with over 15 videos about abandoned places, hidden gems, ghost towns, and secret spots across the Keystone State you might not know about. So make sure to check them out. The link is in the description and on the end screen. Number 4. Denton Hill Ski Resort. In the quiet hills of Ulysses, Pennsylvania, lies a place where winter magic once flourished, the Denton Hill Ski Resort. Opened in 1959, this resort was a beloved destination for skiers and families, offering the perfect escape into snow-covered slopes and cozy mountain lodges. But today, it's a very different scene. For decades, Denton Hill was the heart of winter recreation in the region. Visitors flocked here to experience the thrill of its ski runs and the charm of its rustic accommodations. However, as interest in the resort declined and maintenance costs grew, the resort faced challenges it couldn't overcome. By 2014, it was forced to close its doors, leaving behind a frozen snapshot of its vibrant past. Walking through the resort now feels like stepping into a winter ghost town. The ski lifts hang motionless, their cables swaying gently in the wind. The slopes, once alive with skiers carving their way downhill, are now overgrown with grass and trees. The lodges, once filled with the laughter of families warming up by the fire, stand in silent decay, their windows broken and walls crumbling. It serves as a reminder of how fleeting even the most cherished moments can be. Number 3. Lake Lee Dam. Hidden within the breathtaking beauty of Ricketts Glen State Park lies a forgotten relic of human ambition, the abandoned Lake Lee Dam. This towering concrete structure stands as a silent witness to plans that never fully came to life. Built with the goal of generating hydroelectric power, the dam was part of an ambitious project that ultimately fell short. For reasons lost to history, the plans were abandoned before they could be completed, leaving the dam to stand unused and forgotten, blending into the surrounding wilderness over the years. Today, Lake Lee Dam is a striking sight. Its imposing concrete walls, cracked and weathered by time, contrast sharply against the lush greenery that now surrounds it. Moss and vines creep along its surface, as if nature is reclaiming what was always hers. The area is quiet and serene, with the occasional sound of birdsong echoing through the trees, adding an almost haunting stillness to the site. Number 2. Knox Coal Distribution Center. In the small town of Duryea, Pennsylvania, you'll find a towering relic of the state's coal-driven past, the abandoned Knox Coal Distribution Center. Once a bustling hub of activity, this industrial giant played a critical role in Pennsylvania's coal economy. But like many symbols of industry, it now stands crumbling and forgotten. The Knox Coal Distribution Center was a key part of the region's coal transportation network, where coal was processed and shipped to fuel homes, factories, and railroads across the country. However, as the coal industry began to decline in the mid-20th century, so too did this once thriving facility. Eventually, it was abandoned, leaving its massive structures to rust and decay. Walking through the site today feels like going back to a dystopian landscape. The conveyor belts, once alive with the constant flow of coal, are now silent and covered in rust. The storage silos, once towering symbols of industrial might, are collapsing under the weight of time. Everywhere you look, the remnants of machinery and crumbling walls tell the story of an industry that once defined this region. But the Knox Coal Distribution Center isn't just a forgotten industrial site. It's a powerful reminder of Pennsylvania's history and the impact of the coal boom and bust. Number 1. Huber Breaker. And finally, at the top of our list is Huber Breaker, located in Ashley, Pennsylvania. This wasn't just another coal facility. It was the crown jewel of anthracite processing, a place where raw power and precision turned black rock into energy that fueled an entire region. Built in 1939, the Huber Breaker wasn't subtle. Towering over the landscape, its labyrinth of machinery hummed with life for nearly 4 decades. Coal dust coated the air, and the rhythmic clatter of conveyor belts echoed across the town, a constant reminder that here, coal was king. The breaker wasn't just a workplace, it was the heartbeat of Ashley, employing hundreds and shaping the identity of the community. But empires don't last forever. By the mid-1970s, the coal industry was in steep decline, and the Huber breaker, once a symbol of progress, became a relic of the past. Its towering silos emptied, its conveyors stilled, and the machines that once roared fell silent. What remained was a massive skeleton of steel and rust, a monument to both the triumphs and the costs of industrial ambition. For years, it was a colossus of industry, now reduced to whispers in the wind. Locals and explorers alike were drawn to its decaying beauty, weaving stories of what once was and what might have been. But in 2014, the breaker met its final chapter, dismantled piece by piece. And yet, the spirit of the Huber breaker lives on, not just in old photographs and memories, but in the lessons it left behind. In 1892, the air around Homestead, Pennsylvania was thick with tension. Thousands of steelworkers gathered at the gates of one of the most powerful mills in the country, demanding fair wages and better conditions. What followed was one of the most dramatic labor strikes in American history, a battle between workers and industry that would shape the future of labor rights. Today, that same mill stands silent, its smokestacks a reminder of a time when Pennsylvania was the steel capital of the world. But this is just one of the many stories buried within Pennsylvania's abandoned steel mills. In this video, we'll cover 7 most fascinating abandoned steel mills in Pennsylvania. And trust me, the story behind number 1 will leave you speechless. But before starting, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we have over 15 videos on Pennsylvania secrets published, and many more coming your way. Now, let's begin the countdown. Number 7. Jones and Laughlin Steel. Sitting along the Monongahela River, this massive steel mill was the lifeline of an entire community and a key player in building America's industrial backbone. Back in the mid-1800s, when this mill was founded, the world was just beginning to see the potential of steel. Jones and Laughlin quickly became a pioneer, producing the material that would shape America's cities and infrastructure. Steel from this mill wasn't just used locally. It built bridges that spanned rivers, strengthened skyscrapers, and laid the tracks for railroads connecting the nation. It became a symbol of progress and ambition, with its furnaces running day and night and thousands of workers pouring their energy into keeping the mill alive. But like so many industrial giants, Jones and Laughlin Steel couldn't withstand the changing tides of history. By the late 1900s, the global steel industry was shifting. Cheaper imports began flooding the market, and American steel mills struggled to compete. For Jones and Laughlin, the decline was rapid. By the 1980s, much of the mill had gone quiet. The clanging of steel and the roar of furnaces faded, leaving behind empty buildings and memories of a once thriving operation. Today, the site has taken on a new life. Parts of it have been transformed into modern residential and commercial spaces, like the South Side Works, bustling with shops, restaurants, and apartments. But if you walk through the area, you'll still see glimpses of its industrial past, towering stacks that refuse to be forgotten, and the remnants of rail lines that once carried steel to the world. Number 6. Homestead Steel Works. Located just outside Pittsburgh, Homestead Steel Works stood as a powerhouse of production, churning out materials that helped shape the skyline of America. But this mill was more than just a factory. It was a stage for one of the most dramatic and impactful events in labor history. In 1892, Homestead became the center of a fierce battle between steelworkers and the mighty Carnegie Steel Company. The workers, demanding fair wages and better conditions, stood their ground against one of the wealthiest industrialists of the time. The Homestead strike turned violent, with armed guards and workers clashing in a showdown that left a deep mark on the labor movement in the United States. It wasn't just about steel. It was about people fighting for dignity and respect in an unforgiving system. For decades after, the mill continued its relentless output, fueling industries and communities alike. But by the 1980s, the steel industry began to crumble. Homestead Steel Works, like so many others, couldn't keep up with competition and the changing times. In 1986, the mill shut its doors for good, leaving behind a massive empty expanse that once buzzed with life. Today, the site tells a very different story. Much of it has been transformed into the waterfront shopping complex, where families gather and businesses thrive. Yet, the past isn't completely gone. Towering smokestacks, standing tall against the skyline, are a silent tribute to the mill's legacy. Number 5. Decaying Works. Decaying Works, located along the Monongahela River, was once a vital piece of Pennsylvania's steel empire. For decades, this mill operated at full throttle, producing millions of tons of steel that powered America's Industrial Revolution. The constant hum of activity here was a proof of the determination and skill of its workers, who helped shape the nation's infrastructure with every beam and rail that left the factory floor. Established in 1886, Decaying Works quickly gained a reputation for being ahead of its time. Its innovative steel-making techniques set it apart, enabling the mill to produce steel more efficiently than many of its competitors. For the town of Decaying, this mill wasn't just an employer, it was the heart of the community. But like many giants of its era, Decaying Works couldn't escape the decline of the steel industry in the 1980s. Foreign competition and economic shifts made it increasingly difficult for mills like this one to stay afloat. By the time it closed its doors, Decaying Works had gone from being a powerhouse to a quiet, forgotten relic of a bygone era. The site fell silent, leaving behind crumbling buildings that once buzzed with life and purpose. Today, the remains of Decaying Works tell a different kind of story. Overgrown vegetation has taken over much of the area, with rusted structures standing as a stark reminder of what once was. And hey, I know you're enjoying this video so far, so why not give us a thumbs up? It's a small thing, but it really helps us out. And if you're into exploring Pennsylvania, we've got 2 playlists for you that you'll definitely love. Make sure to check them out. The link is in the description and on the end screen. Number 4. McKeesport National Tube Works. In the town of McKeesport, nestled along the Youghiogheny River, stood the sprawling McKeesport National Tube Works. This massive facility wasn't just a steel mill, it was a vital cog in America's growing oil and gas industries. For decades, it produced the pipes that carried oil, gas, and water across the country, helping to fuel the economic boom of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Founded in the late 1800s, the National Tube Works was a hub of innovation and hard work. It was here that steel tubing was manufactured with precision, supporting everything from industrial pipelines to municipal water systems. The mill provided steady jobs to thousands of workers, creating a bustling community that thrived alongside the factory. But as the years rolled on, challenges began to mount. Overseas competition brought cheaper alternatives, and demand for American-made steel products, like those from McKeesport, started to decline. By the late 1900s, the mill faced mounting financial pressures, and eventually, operations came to a halt. The closure left a void, not only in the industrial landscape, but also in the lives of the workers and families who had relied on it for generations. Today, the remnants of McKeesport National Tube Works stand as a haunting tribute to its past. The site has become a destination for urban explorers and photographers, drawn by the eerie beauty of its decaying structures. Number 3. Shenango Furnace. Tucked away on Neville Island, surrounded by the winding waters of the Ohio River, stood Shenango Furnace, a mill with a setting as unique as its history. Unlike the expansive urban mills of Pittsburgh, Shenango's location gave it an almost isolated feel, yet it was a vital part of the steel industry's beating heart. For decades, it played a crucial role in the production of pig iron, a key ingredient in the steel-making process. Throughout its operation, it supplied pig iron to steel mills across the region, fueling the creation of bridges, buildings, and railroads that defined America's growth. Its workers took immense pride in their role, knowing their efforts contributed to projects that would stand for generations. Shenango's furnaces burned brightly for decades, making it a cornerstone of Neville Island's industrial scene. But like so many mills, Shenango faced the inevitable decline that came with a changing economy. By the early 2000s, its operations had become unsustainable. Increased environmental regulations, overseas competition, and dwindling demand for domestic steel products all contributed to its closure. When the furnaces were finally extinguished, it marked the end of an era, not just for Neville Island, but for the region as a whole. Today, the site of Shenango Furnace is a mix of what once was and what might someday be. Parts of the area have been cleared, leaving behind vast open spaces that hint at its former scale. Plans for redevelopment have been discussed over the years, but progress has been slow, and Shenango remains a quiet, ghostly reminder of its industrial past. Number 2. Cambria Iron Works. In Johnstown, Pennsylvania, along the Conemaugh River, the Cambria Iron Works stands as a testament to Pennsylvania's steel legacy. Established in 1852, this mill was once at the forefront of innovation, adopting cutting-edge techniques like the Bessemer process to produce steel that powered America's railroads and built its bridges. For decades, it was one of the largest steel producers in the nation, fueling the industrial boom that shaped the country. But like many giants of its time, Cambria couldn't keep pace with the changing economy. As demand for American steel dwindled and competition rose, the mill's prominence faded. By the mid-1900s, much of the facility had been abandoned, its towering furnaces and machine shops left to the elements. Today, parts of the site still stand, offering a haunting glimpse into its industrial past. Designated as a National Historic Landmark, it draws history buffs and urban explorers alike, with its rusting frames and weathered structures preserving the echoes of its storied past. Number 1. Bethlehem Steel. Located in the city of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, this steelworks was one of the largest and most influential in the world. For over a century, it played a critical role in shaping America's infrastructure, contributing to projects like the Golden Gate Bridge and the Chrysler Building. The story of Bethlehem Steel began in the 1850s when it was founded as a small iron company. Over the years, it grew into an industrial giant, producing steel that built cities, powered railroads, and supported the military during wartime. At its peak, the mill employed tens of thousands of workers who poured their sweat and skill into making it one of the most productive steel facilities in history. For the people of Bethlehem, the steelworks wasn't just a job. It was a source of pride that connected the community. But even the strongest giants can fall. By the 1990s, the steel industry was in crisis, and Bethlehem Steel struggled to keep up with global competition and declining demand. After nearly 150 years of operation, the mill closed its doors in 1995, marking the end of an era. The massive site, once full of life and activity, became a silent relic of its former glory. Today, Bethlehem Steel has found new life as a cultural and historical landmark. Parts of the site have been transformed into steel stacks, a vibrant arts and entertainment complex that honors the mill's legacy. Visitors can explore museums, attend concerts, and walk through areas where steelworkers once toiled. The towering blast furnaces remain, standing as powerful reminders of the mill's incredible history and its impact on the world. Now let us know, which of these steel mills surprised you the most? Or do you have a story or memory connected to one of them? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let's talk about it.